So I just challenged you to do 6 parties in your first 30 days. And now we need to talk about where are the 6 hostesses or more that you're going to have. We're going to find them from your launch list. So I had asked you to print this out before you started the video. If you don't have it yet, pause and grab this paper. This is a very critical resource for you as you start your business. Honest to goodness. This launch list is the key to your success. Without this list, you probably have maybe 4 to 6 names in your head that you're thinking, oh, they would do a party for me. Or maybe you even have 8, maybe 10 names in your head. Best case scenario that you think they'll do parties for me. What I want to tell you is sometimes it's not our closest friends that actually help us launch our business. Sometimes some of them say no, or they just don't take us far enough in our business. I will tell you, I've found a lot of times it's the second layer of friends or more of our acquaintances that get our business off to a big start. So it's important for you to go through and fill out this launch list. And so what we're going to do is take a few minutes. I am not going to go through every single part in great detail and pause, but I want, after I give a brief overview, for you to later, when this video is over, go back in and finish filling in as many names as you can. If there is nothing else you do from this video, the launch list is the most important. And I will tell you, it's the difference between consultants having a great thriving business and those that just peter out over time. Ready? So, launch list. We're going to have a goal of at least 4 names in each of these 10 different categories. So at the end of our time, you should have 40 plus names written down. Truthfully, some of these categories you won't have 4, but maybe others you're going to have 6 or 7. And at the end, as long as we equal about 40 names, you're going to be in great shape. So let's go. Grab your pen, grab your paper, and let's do it. First of all, easy, starts with friends. And this could be a big category, and it may have some crossover into other categories too. And that's perfectly fine. Write down the name of your best friend. Right now, write it down. Write the name of your friend who hosted a home party most recently. Doesn't have to be Pampered Chef. Write down the name of your friend who held the last social, maybe a barbecue, a pool party, a book club. Bunko, who is your party friend? Who had a girls' night at their house? Write down the name of your friend who is most maybe needing a new job. Write down the name of your friend who's moved into a house most recently that they might want to show off. Write down the friend who you just won concert tickets. Who are you calling? Who are your top 3 that you call to go to the movies and see a new movie? And you can come back and add more names as we go. Next category, so we can keep going, is neighbors. And you can see here it says current and past. I want you to think of your current neighborhood, the neighborhood before that, maybe your childhood neighborhood. Who knows? We're thinking neighborly. Sometimes we don't know neighbors' names, but we know neighbor with the black dog, neighbor with the red car. Whatever it takes, we need neighbors' names or descriptions on here. Who lives next door to you on the right? Who lives next door to you on the left? Who lives across the street? Who lives down the street? Who's my friendliest neighbor? Which neighbor has ever invited me over for a party or a barbecue? Which neighbor walks their dog every night? Any neighbor names or descriptions that you can put down will be important. Next is relatives. Relatives can be a huge category for some, and I want to tell you, you don't have to like all your neighbors to write their name down. Just kidding, kind of. I want you to think of all your relatives. This is where you go beyond mom, dad, sister, brother. You start thinking of cousins, aunts, uncles, in-laws, sister-in-laws, brother-in-laws, mother-in-laws, all of the in-laws, all right? And I want you to think of your relative who lives closest to you. I want you to think of the relative who hosted the last major holiday. How about the relative that lives the furthest from you but still in the United States? Lots and lots of relatives hopefully are coming to your mind. Or maybe those that you've adopted as your mom if you don't have parents live or close by, but you've adopted some people. Put them under your relative list. Let's keep going for time's sake. Coworkers, your current job, your last job. If you're not working, think back to the last time you did work, and you're going to think of who do I carpool with, who do I eat lunch with, who do I stand at the water cooler and talk to, who shares a cubicle, who lives next door, their desk is or office is next door. Think of your spouse's coworkers. As many names as you can jot down as possible. I'm waiting so you can write. Next is holiday greeting card list, and I'm just going right down this list. Holiday greeting card list. This one can be tricky, but think for a minute. My son's recently graduated from high school, so I dug deep in my phone book, and we sent out a lot of announcements. Think to yourself, do you have someone also that just graduated? Or maybe someone's getting married, maybe a baby shower or a bridal shower, or we're moving card, anything like that. Or do you do holiday cards? And you could look at your list here. Think deep, go back. These could be kind of random relatives, old family friends that might be on this list. All right, next page. We're still going. Digital contacts. This is going to be big for some of you, and maybe some that aren't as into digital technology won't be into this as much. But think for a minute Facebook, because many of us are on Facebook. Who likes all your posts? Who comments on all your posts? Who do you know that comments on Facebook or makes posts all the time? Write their name down. Who do you follow on Instagram? Or who are you Snapchat friends with? Or what buy and sell groups are you a part of in Facebook? And if you're not yet, research them. Find some groups that you can join. People that have common interests can be in a Facebook group. And a lot of socializing and network happens in those groups. So think digital for a minute. Next, community connections. This is big. Every one of us has community connections if we think about it. We all go to a grocery store. Do we hit the same teller every now and again? If not, let's start doing that. But I want you to start thinking about grocery store clerk. Where you do business, you should do business. So do you get your hair done? Do you get your nails done? Do you go to an eye doctor, a regular doctor? Do you have children that go to a pediatrician? Do they have their own dentist? Do you have a dentist? All of the places in the community that you go, you want to jot down names and make contact with them. Next is phone favorites. And this one I used to think was weird, but then I got to thinking, oh yeah, phone favorites. A lot of your best friends are going to show up as soon as you glance right now in your phone at your most recent calls, your most recent text. But you know who else might show up in there is people that are acquaintances that maybe are part of a carpool that you're in, or they're part of if your kids are on a team sport, or you're involved in community groups, whether it's a homeowners, a book club, a bunco group, anything like that. Look in your phone and you might be surprised at some of the people that you've contacted but didn't make it somewhere else on this list. Dig deep and see what you can come up with. Next is friends, parents. So this is kind of a whole category of who do you know because of people you know. So I would expand this list to friends of your kids, who are their parents, friends of your spouse, who did your spouse go to college with, who did your spouse grow up with, did you get your spouse's relatives, or again it says your parents. Do you have parents that have friends of the family that you know? Again, who do you know isn't always the key, but who do you know and who do they know is where you want to go with that. And the final is your favorite foodies, and we're on the last category. This is, you know, the person who always posts recipes of their dinner. They love restaurants. They talk about food all the time. Jot them down because they would be super excited to be a taste tester for you or just excited to know. So you have now got hopefully 40 or more names. And I hope you're excited and you didn't realize how many people you knew and what a vast group that is. So what I want to tell you is you got your challenge that you're doing. I'm challenging you to do 6 parties in your first 30 days. Of those 6 parties, we know one can be a grand opening. I'd like to see at least 4 different circles going. We call that the Strong Start Challenge. Of your 6 parties, that you hit 4 different circles. And why? Well, that's just going to help your business spider web out faster. If we exhaust the neighbors and every single neighbor does your first 6 shows, certainly they're going to invite coworkers that each other don't know, and they're going to invite family members, but there might be a little bit overlap that could make it harder to explode. So if you can really be intentional and very business minded, this will work beautifully. So it's 6 parties, and of those 6, you're looking at 4 different social groups. So exciting. I can't wait to see how that goes for you. So we've got your work days marked. We've now got your launch list filled out, and you can go back and keep adding. And if you realize I don't do much, it's time to join some groups. It's time to get involved in the community so you can add names to your launch list. And you're going to save this launch list for a long time, and it's going to keep growing. So the last thing is we need to ask people now to be one of our 6 first host. And how do we ask? Well, asking is one-on-one. It is not a group text. It is not a group post. It's one-on-one. Here's what will happen. You're going to see that posting on Facebook is a great idea. It's super fun. Throw an apron on yourself, have some kit products out, and tell everyone how excited you are about the business. But don't think that that was you asking them to book a party. Even if you say something like, let me know if you want to have a party, you still technically didn't ask them if they wanted to have a party. You just said, look at me, look what I'm doing. And so asking is going to be one-on-one, and it's going to be direct, it's going to be enthusiastic, and let me tell you, it's going to be specific. What I want to tell you is that people love Pampered Chef parties. It is fun to have a party. It's fun to go to a party. And if people haven't been to a party lately, they might not even know about our fun cooking show format that's a cooking class and not a demonstration where they're sitting passively watching you cook. So make sure people know about that. I want you to be confident that you know what you're asking someone to do is exciting and fun. And I want you to remember every time before you pick up the phone to call or text someone or Facebook message that you are excited and not desperate. Say that with me. You are excited but not desperate. And here's how you're going to ask someone to book a party. Well, before I tell you that, I'm going to tell you people book generally for 4 reasons, and we call them the 4 F words. Or they're the 4 F words: food, fun, friends, and free. And that is the 4 reasons why people book parties. So definitely keep those in mind as you talk to people and think, what would my friend Susie Q be into? Oh, she'd really be into the food side of it. So I'm going to talk to her about recipes. Oh, my friend Jan is really into freebies. I'm going to tell her about our specials this month. So it's personal for one of the 4 F words. And sometimes it's a combination of both. All right, how do we ask? This is it. It might sound something like this. Hey, Susie Q, I'm really excited because I've just gotten started with Pampered Chef. I would love for you to be one of my first hosts. I thought of you because, and now you fill it in with a personal reason. What do you think? Would you like to gather some friends for a fun party? And that's it. Notice that I ended it with a question that's going to make them say yes or no. Do not end it with let me know. That's not a question. That's awkward. So again, it's direct and excited. I'll say it again. Hey, Susie Q, I'm really excited because I've just gotten started with Pampered Chef. I would love to have you be one of my first hosts. I thought of you because, what do you think? Would you like to gather friends for a fun party? And they're going to maybe say yes. Of course, some will. You're going to say, great, let's compare calendars. Remember, a party is only a party with a date and a hostess. So say, let's compare calendars. I do parties on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Which of those would you prefer? I have next Tuesday the 17th or Tuesday the 24th, and you go from there. Some will say no, and that's okay. Listen to the difference between a soft no and a firm no. When you hear, I don't think so, that's a soft no, and I gave you a paper that says overcoming objections. Work through those, practice those, and if you still get an objection, then just say, no problem, I'm having a grand opening party. Would you like to attend? I'm looking for taste testers. You could even bring a friend or 2 I don't know. And that's it. That's all you need to do for asking. And so I'm going to tell you, asking is just about getting started. That's the hardest part, and I want you to not overthink it. Grab your phone, grab your launch list, and go to town. It's okay if you're nervous. You're going to be nervous, and we do things even when we're nervous. So as we wrap up, we've covered a lot today. I need to give you a challenge. You're going to text or email your director a picture of both of these lists complete, along with how many parties of your 6 are you going to have booked in the next 48 hours? Text that to your director or email me or your director right now with these pictures completed and how many of your 6 parties you're going to have booked in the next 48 hours. We want to create some urgency and get this done. Once you do that, you'll get video number 2, and we're going to tell you all about how to do those parties. Don't wait till you know more to book parties. You won't be able to take advantage of the 30 and 90-day rewards. Let's go get it. I'm super excited.